Exercise 15-35 is allocating costs to divisions, and they're currently doing it on just an even basis. They're going to allocate all the overhead costs evenly to the various divisions, and they want to look at an ABC, activity-based costing method. So we'll look through this, the activities that they're looking at: number of employees for HR costs, so that one, total revenues, so this one, square feet, that one, and then an other will be equally, so we don't have to do that. So what we need to do, first of all, is to get the percentages of the total of this. So if we start with the revenues, we've got 21,300. And I can leave off the zeros since they're all zeros here. Enter 4,300 plus 13,500 plus gives us 39. Gives us 39,100. And store that. So 21,300. This is going to be 54.48%. We got 4,300. This will be 10 point. Well, this will be 11% when you round it up. And then finally, 13,500. We end up with 34.53% for that one. Then number of employees, 750, that's an even 1,000. Right. So this will be 60%, this will be 15%, and this will be 25%. And then finally, square feet of space, we've got 1827 is 30,000. So this will be 10%. This will be 60%, and this will be 30% on that. Okay, so now we've got the allocations, and in this one they start us off with the segment margin, so we don't have to do a lot of work getting there. Again, this is another one that Excel would be beneficial. So we've got the bread division, we've got the cake division, and we've got the donuts division. Okay, so our segment margin, which is just given to us, there is 7,200,000, 1,400,000, and 5,950,000. Okay, and so the current method of doing it is we've got the total costs of 4,950,000 that we're going to divide up. I guess we could put a total column in here. We've got the 4,950,000, and if we divide that by 3, we get 1,650,000 for each. giving us a segment margin of $4,300,000 in the donut division, a negative $250,000 in the cake division, and $5,550,000 in the bread division. Okay, so now the other way they want us to do this, so is we'll have the same divisions: the bread, the cake, and the donuts. And we'll do the total here. And we've got the segment margin as before, $7,200,000, $1,400,000, $5,950,000. We could add those all together. 7,200,000 enter 1,400,000 plus 5,950 plus would be 14,550,000. All right. But now we're going to allocate the various resources. So we'll start off with the HR, and the total HR cost is $1,700,000. We're going to divide that by the number. We're going to allocate that based on the number of employees. So we've got 1,700,000. And that's be 60%. Gives us 1,020,000. Then 15% would be 255,000. And then 25% would be 425,000. The next up is the accounting department costs, and that's going to be based on total revenues. So the total revenues were 39,100,000. And that'll be times 0.5448 will be 20. Sorry, that's not right. Accounting department costs are 1,300,000. That's based on the total revenue. So 1,300,000. And that'll be times the 0.5448. That's going to be 708,240. The cake division was 11%, 143,000. And the donut division was 34.53. 0.3453 must have not hit a decimal point, and that would be 448,890. Then we have the rent and depreciation. That's based on the number of square feet. The rent and depreciation total cost is $1,440,000. Number of square feet would be that'd be 60%. So that's 864. 10%. Would be 144,000. And then finally, 30% for the donuts would be 432,000. Lastly, we have the other, and that is just split equally. That is 510. 510. Divide that by 3 is 170,000. And so you end up with the division profitability. 7,200,000 and 1,020,000, 708,240, 864, and 170 gives you 4,437,760 for the cake division. Would be 688,000. And finally, the donut division, 5,950,000. Segment margin is 4,474,110. All right, so then we compare that up above. The bread company lost, the cake and the donut company came out better off. The donut company came out $174,000 better off. The cake company came out over 900,000 better off. So I would say, this would be in the interest of the cake division to do that. And it's not all wrong, because if you look at it, some of these allocations are correct. Obviously, rent and depreciation is kind of based on square foot, unless they have, extra costs that are not taken into account. They have lower employee numbers. They have lower gross revenue numbers. So, this is probably not a bad way to do things. The problem with ABC costing, honestly, is you get into cost benefits. Now, this isn't too bad because you're going to compute your revenues regardless. And, number of employees is fairly stable. Square feet is going to be, usually quite stable. So doing it that way, where ABC gets into problem when you're getting these activities that are dynamic, where you've got orders and parts, and how many parts are you handling, and how many times you're handling it, and number of inspections, and amount of rework, and all that sort of thing. That's where ABC gets to be, where the costs of ABC get to be very um, burdensome, and it's hard to keep track of. That being said, no matter what allocation system you use, it's not going to be always perfectly fair in every situation to every division, every manager. So you're just going to have to go with it and try to be as fair as possible when you're doing these things. But it'll be impossible to be perfectly fair.